Rain poured over the small wooden shack as Leah's cries blended with the thunder. She had just given birth alone, her trembling hands holding the tiny baby against her chest. Her husband had left weeks ago, and her family stood outside, whispering that she was cursed. The pain of childbirth was nothing compared to the ache in her heart. She was about to lose the only piece of love she had left in this world. The midwife took the baby from her trembling arms, and Leah reached out desperately. "Please, don't take her," she begged, her voice weak and breaking. But her mother turned away, saying coldly, "You brought shame to us, Leah. The man from the city is waiting. We'll sell the child, you'll start over." Leah collapsed, her world spinning as she realized she had no strength left to fight. Outside, under the gray sky, a tall man named Adam stood beside his horse. A rancher by trade, he wasn't here to buy anyone, he was here to deliver grain. But when he heard the baby's cries and saw the terrified woman inside, something inside him shifted. He saw not a transaction, but tragedy. "You're selling her?" he asked, disbelief in his tone. The mother nodded, cold and tired. "A man's gotta make a living," she said. Adam's jaw tightened as he watched Leah sobbing silently inside. Without a word, he pulled out his wallet and handed over enough money to stop the deal. "I'll take her," he said, voice low but steady. The mother smirked. "The child?" He shook his head slowly. "No, both of them." Gasps rippled through the small crowd, and Leah looked up in confusion, tears streaming down her pale face. When Adam stepped inside, Leah flinched. "Why?" she whispered, clutching her blanket. "Why would you do this?" He didn't answer right away. He simply took off his hat and knelt beside her, looking into her weary eyes. "Because no one deserves to be treated like they're less than human," he said softly. "You and your baby, you deserve a chance to live." Leah's lips trembled as she whispered, "No one's ever said that to me before." As Adam lifted her gently onto his horse, Leah couldn't stop shaking. She was weak, frightened, and unsure whether she'd been saved or sold again. The baby whimpered softly in her arms. The wind whipped around them as Adam rode through the muddy road, his coat shielding her from the rain. "Rest," he said over the thunder. "You're safe now." For the first time in years, Leah let herself believe it might be true. They arrived at his ranch by nightfall, the firelight flickering through the windows. The place smelled of hay and warm bread. Adam helped her inside, handing her a clean blanket. "You can stay here till you heal," he said gently. Leah looked around, hesitant. "You don't even know me," she murmured. Adam smiled faintly. "I don't need to. Sometimes you just know who's worth saving." Days passed slowly. Leah slept for hours, her body recovering from the trauma. Adam worked quietly outside but always left food by her door. She watched him from the window, his kindness confused her. No man had ever done something without expecting something in return. One evening, when she thanked him, he simply said, "You don't owe me gratitude. You just owe yourself peace." His words pierced deeper than he knew. Leah began to help around the ranch, feeding the chickens and washing clothes. Each small task gave her a sense of purpose she hadn't felt in years. The baby, whom she named Hope, began to giggle when Adam walked in. "She likes you," Leah said shyly. Adam chuckled, his rough hands surprisingly gentle as he held the child. "She's got her mother's courage," he said softly. Leah turned away, hiding the warmth in her smile. For the first time, laughter returned to that house. Yet beneath the calm, shadows from Leah's past began to stir. Word had spread that the man who once abandoned her, the child's father, was back in town. And he wasn't happy that someone else had taken what he once owned. Leah's hands shook as she folded the baby's blanket, the news burning in her chest like fire. The thought of her past walking back into her life filled her with dread. Adam noticed the tremor in her voice when she said, "He's here, the man who left me." His calm eyes darkened slightly, but his tone stayed gentle. "You're safe here, Leah. He won't take what's not his anymore." But she wasn't sure she believed it, because fear doesn't fade just because someone says you're safe. The next evening, a storm rolled in again. Through the sound of thunder came a sharp knock on the door. Adam opened it slowly, and there stood a man in a tattered coat, Leah's former husband, eyes full of bitterness. "You've got something that belongs to me," he hissed. Leah froze, clutching Hope close. Adam stepped forward, his broad frame blocking the doorway. "You left her to die," he said firmly. "You lost every right to her the day you walked away." The man sneered, pulling a gun from his coat. You think you can just buy people and call it mercy? He spat. Adam didn't flinch. I didn't buy her, he said evenly. I freed her. Lightning cracked outside as Leah cried out, please. Don't. But before the man could move, Adam reached forward, grabbing his wrist and twisting it. The gun fell to the ground. In that moment, the storm seemed to break, inside and out. The sheriff arrived soon after, called by the noise. He recognized Leah's former husband, who had a long record of violence. He's done enough harm, Adam said quietly. Let him face what he's earned. The man was taken away, shouting curses into the rain. Leah sank to her knees, clutching her child, her sobs mixing with the thunder. Adam knelt beside her, resting a hand on her shoulder. It's over, he whispered. He can't hurt you anymore. In the days that followed, Leah's fear slowly faded into gratitude. She started to laugh again, her eyes brighter each morning. The ranch that once echoed only with the wind now carried the sound of Hope's laughter and Leah's humming as she worked. Adam watched her with quiet pride, not wanting to intrude on her peace. But one evening, as the sun dipped below the hills, Leah approached him. You gave me more than a roof, she said softly. You gave me back my life. Adam smiled, his gaze meeting hers. Maybe you just needed someone to remind you that you still had one, he said. There was a long silence between them, broken only by Hope's giggle as she tugged at Adam's boot. Leah laughed through tears, her heart full for the first time in years. She loves you, she whispered. Adam looked at the baby and then at Leah. Then I suppose I'm the luckiest man alive. As seasons changed, Leah and Adam built something neither of them expected. A home, a family, a quiet kind of love that healed without demanding anything in return. On a spring morning, Leah stood by the porch, Hope in her arms, watching Adam repair the fence. He looked up, wiping sweat from his brow, and smiled the same way he had the day he found her, in the rain, broken but unforgotten. Leah stepped forward, heart steady. Adam, she called softly. When he turned, she said the words she'd held for months. You didn't just save me. You taught me what love means. He walked to her, touching Hope's tiny hand, and said, then we both found what we were searching for. As the sun painted the sky in gold, Leah felt the past finally release its grip. She wasn't the woman who'd been sold anymore, she was the woman who'd been chosen. Adam slipped his hand into hers, and together they watched Hope chase a butterfly across the grass. In that moment, Leah knew the truth. She hadn't just found safety, she'd found home.